Well, let's get more on this now. Joining me live in the studio is Dr. Omer El-Hamdoon, who is the president of the Muslim Association of Britain. And joining us live from Paris via Skype is communication consultant Emma Suleiman. Thank you both for speaking to us. And Dr. Omar, let me start with you. Just picking up on actually some of the comments we're hearing from the creator, the Australian designer of the burkini. She's saying, well, at the end of the day, this is just a piece of fabric. They're turning it into something that it isn't. Has this whole thing been blown out of proportion?
Yeah, it definitely has been blown out of proportion. Actually, what we're hearing from a lot of the French officials who are involved in this is really ludicrous, you know, to actually equate this kind of clothing with political Islam or some sort of terrorism or threat. It is laughable, and that's why here in the UK we're actually people are having a field day with it. You know, a lot of people are actually criticising it. Even our own mayor, he's there in France, and he's making his views heard. So it's something that's blown out of proportion, but it's also, I think, showing a very negative aspect of how Islam is viewed in France, because they're conflating the whole issue of what is a threat to the world's stable peace, terrorism, and making it conflated with Muslims going about with their ordinary lives. And I think that's a problem in itself.
So then let me put one point you make there to Emma Suleiman in Paris. What do you agree? What does this say about the way Islam is viewed in your country?
Well, let me put things in perspective. There is an Islamophobia across the world, not only in France, and this is due to ISIS and the series of terrorist attacks happening a lot since last year. So, but in this burkini, issue in particular, I do agree that it's a swimsuit that is very comforting for veiled women, except that the issue in France is not really about the swimsuit. It's much larger, and it's behind the ideology behind the swimsuit. There is a misunderstanding, and especially in Britain, of the French laïcité, which implies to keep religion in private and respect the neutrality of the public places. And I think under this very particular political climate at the moment, especially after Nice attack, everyone should make an effort.
All right, so then let me put that point to Dr. Omar. I suppose it's difficult to divorce the events on the beach, whatever one's opinion might be, from the social and political climate in the country right now, particularly in the aftermath of the Paris attacks last year. You had the tragic attack in Nice also. What are your views on that?
Well, let's not forget that the attacks in Nice actually took lots of Muslim lives as well. So this person who was attacking the people in Nice actually killed a lot of Muslims. So Muslims are just as much victims of these terrorist attacks than what they are being perceived as the perpetrators. And then the other thing is, doesn't this really defeat the whole objective of France? You know, raising the flag of liberalism and, you know, the freedoms. You know, isn't France the country which is giving us and so happy with Charlie Hebdo and the freedom of expression? And here they're very quick to take away freedoms of expression. These women are not oppressed. They are choosing to wear these clothes. Why do the police have to force them to strip their clothes off? That's
and so Emma, you were mentioning there the principle of laïcité in France, the principle of secularism. This is designed to preserve equality for all beliefs, as long as it's not posing any threat to public harm or disorder. What threat are these women if they're choosing to wear bikinis? In this case, actually, the woman who was approached by police was not wearing a bikini, but nevertheless, should she not have the choice to wear whatever she pleases when she's on the beach?
Exactly. The women should have the choice to wear whatever they want, and this is not happening. And we know this very well. Women do not have the choice to wear what they want, whether in France or in the Arab world, where women are programmed to believe that their body is a shame, and this is against women rights. And this is why I think the French do hold to this right, because because women here have fought years and years to have the freedom, to have this freedom and these rights. And today we cannot really go back and impose that and impose an idea that, you know, woman's body is a shame. I want to highlight something very important here, that your guest said. Yes, Muslims are today the victim, and not only in France and in all of Europe, because of this ISIS propaganda, and because of stigmatizing the Muslims. Let's say that many Muslims in Europe are happy with and especially in France, are happy with the French laïcité and did integrate. Only a minority is causing a problem, and this minority has a very clear political agenda and are financed by.
Emma, let me just pick up on one important thing you said and put it to Dr. Omar, which is that I suppose you were speaking about the recent events in France and perhaps elsewhere in Europe. There does seem to be this perception that French officials, and it has divided opinion, but many people are supporting what mayors and local officials have done in this part of France. They see it as a protection of France's secularism, which is a core part of the constitution.
Well, I mean, already some people have criticised here. We've heard people saying that, you know, if there were nuns on the beach, we're pretty sure that they wouldn't have been treated the same. So it's definitely something that Muslims are being singled out against. Secondly, the whole crux of the matter is that this kind of agenda that's being propagated by France is actually playing into the hands of the terrorists, the very terrorists that they're trying to protect France from. Because by doing this, they're showing the Muslims in France that, look, you know, you don't really have a place in France. You can be, you are a threat. And so ISIS are actually having a field day with this, because they're saying this is exactly what we're saying to you. Come and join our caliphate, where we will honor you and we will protect you. So it's actually playing the opposite way, and I think the French should do better than marginalise Muslims by these kind of actions.
But they're not marginalized, and the lady again wasn't stripped off. By the way, I think you heard that she was fined. She was fined, and she took off.
You know what? Why don't we? Because we're running out of time. Maybe I will just maybe put that one final point to you, Emma. Dr. Omar was just talking about the potential consequences that might result from the enforcement of these types of bans. Are you concerned that it could actually end up creating the problems that it seeks to prevent in some ways, that it could end up stigmatizing Muslims because it's something that perhaps is targeting a particular community and end up causing, you know, hostility between different groups of people inside France?
I agree. The results are not going to be very pleasant, especially that France is being is facing serious threats by ISIS and by other Islamist groups. So this would actually feed into ISIS agenda and would stigmatize more Muslims. That's why it's the government's responsibility to engage in a debate with the Muslim and actually educate more about the secularism, and everyone should make an effort actually to live together and to keep this social harmony.
Well, Emma, thank you very much for taking the time to join us via Skype from Paris. Emma Suleiman there, and also here in the studio, Dr. Omer El-Hamdoon, President of the Muslim Association of Britain. Thank you both.